Hello, hello. Yesterday there was a Magic Online Showcase Challenge thing. That the top eight got invited to the regional mocks, and I managed the top eight. For some reason, it cleared all my game history. I don't know what that's about, but I'm glad this thing was saved. I played with this list, which is basically what I've been doing forever. I think one Thoughtseize is good main to fight. Thoughtseize is very proactive. I think it's a very, very good card. It's easy to fit into the curve. It doesn't, if you draw Thoughtseize against any deck, you're like, oh yeah, this is kind of reasonable. You know what I mean? Whereas if you draw like an Endurance, it's only good against certain things, and Endurance doesn't have the. It's not always good. Where Thoughtseize is kind of generally always good, with the exception, obviously, of Top Deck Wars. I mean, obviously, but generally speaking, Thoughtseize fits into the curve. It's easy to cast. It sides out pretty easily, and you could play an Endurance. You could play a Scavenging Ooze, right? You could play. Don't play Sheoldred. Just don't play this card. It's so situational. It's not even funny. So this is what I played in the main. 4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4-4, and then the three flex air quote slots. This one fetch, two Besajus. This is the right number. Zerk was right. I was wrong. Everyone who said two Besajus was right. I mean, it probably wasn't as good before Leyline Binding got printed, but now that Leyline Binding is here, we have to adjust to the new meta, which is two Besajus. All right. So let's look at the sideboard. Four Thoughtseize. I like having a total access to four against control and stuff like that. Two Necros. I don't really enjoy the third Force of Vigor. I find that this card is like sometimes too much of a cost. And I really like that Besaju is just so flexible, right? You could just slip it in the mana base. You could use it as a land. I really like having this in the sideboard. It could be wrong, but I don't know. It feels very strong whenever you have it. It feels so free with like Wall of Roots plus Yogg to just be able to ping something. One Endurance. I feel like Unlicensed Hearse is just a beast. It's just so good. This card is just so ridiculously good. Sheoldred was and is, I think, completely. This is basically like Hepatra, whereas sometimes it's going to be crazy, and most of the time it's going to be derpy and do nothing. I don't think I'm ever going to play this card again. In fact, for the tournament that starts in four, that starts in 2 hours, I have cut it for a Scavenging Ooze. For a Scavenging Oozy for this guy. See how he's locked? He's red. He's locked in for the next tournament. But for this tournament, I had Sheoldred. I did a poll in my Twitch chat, and I was like, "What do you guys want to see, Sheoldred or Obstinate Baloth?" And they were just like, "Well, Sheoldred." So all right, wasn't a big poll, but my stream had just started, so it's okay. I think that one Endurance is okay. I used to be on four Endurances, but Hearse is just such a more powerful card, right? Hearse is a lot cheaper. It's crewed really easily. I just think Hearse is a powerhouse. Sheoldred cost me my top eight match because I was like, oh, this card could be good, and I brought it in, and it was terrible. But I probably could have won the top eight match if I was a little bit smarter. Anyway, no Sheoldred for the future moving forward. I do like this. I'm going to try this as an ooze, but for the sake of going over this, let's do that. Also, I got some treasure. All right. So I got a full set, and I got 50 things, and a modern championship entry token, which is sweet. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, boom. 50 chests is equal to 60. Ooh, Cavern. Force Negation. Fancy Muldrifter. Fancy Bobble. Fancy Wandering Emperor. Fancy. The wrong Jaya. What is this? Legendary Planeswalker. Dominaria United Commander. Lothuff. Good Calibrated Blast. I need more Calibrated Blasts in my life. Gerard's Hourglass Pendant. This card was like kind of a little hyped up when it came out. But Never really made anything of itself. Yeah, I need one of these. What the hell is this? Two-headed Hellkite. Oh. Flying Menace Haste for Wooburg whenever it attacks. Draw 2 cards. That's not terrible. Alright. A bunch of Commander Baldur's Gate stuff. A background. Ooh, fancy. Alright. So, that was that. Opening the chests and stuff. It's not bad for 50 chests. And let's start with round number 1. Alright, here we are for game number 1. Moto giving me weird prompts again. So I won the die roll. This hand is too reliant on this Dryad Arbor. And Dryad Arbor is like one of the worst cards in the deck when you have to play it on turn 2 or turn 3. Especially in a Wrenn and 6 world. It's kind of ironic. I didn't see much Wrenn and 6 today. But I did see a lot of Fury. So I mulligan to this. This hand's a lot better. You know, bink, 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 bink. We'll put back the second wall. Don't need the second wall. Put back the second wall. I want to shock myself because I want to have access to this without having to pay too much life. Maybe I wasn't supposed to maybe just get a basic forest here. But then we're leaning really heavily. Maybe just basic forest was right. Like, I don't know. I probably should have got a basic forest just to be safe in this Blood Moon world. But at the same time, this lets me cast everything I need. This lets me cast Geralf's Messenger. But maybe this was supposed to be basic forest. But anyway. Alright, Scalding Tarn. Into DRC. So a lot of DRCs today. Alright, so now here we do the swamp. So we're just pretty sure that like Gristing here isn't that great. Because they just give this thing Delirium. This thing always gets Delirium and they just attack Grist. So I'm pretty sure I just go like Wall of Roots, Thoughtseize here. You know, just Thoughtseize. Alright, we see it's the terrible deck. So once we see it's the terrible deck, we're like, oh, okay, well, we win then? So, like, they're far from Breach. Just take the Ledger Shredder. Play the Wall of Roots. Boom. So, what do? They play Saga. And we know their hand, so... Oops. So we know their hand is nothing. So they played the Saga. And they drew another Ledger Shredder. Thoughtseize Bug. That was obviously like one of the best draws they could have. So they play the Amber. And that's obviously a very good draw for them. And they Surveil. Surveil a card to the top, and then they Connive. And this is weird to me, right? Like, why would you discard Expressive Iteration? That seemed like a very good card to keep. But it was kind of a little, like, why wouldn't they just discard Breach? Which made me kind of worried, because I was like, alright, well, they're keeping Iteration. So maybe they don't. I guess they wanted to lean into the Urza Saga, right? Because, you know, if you make people with the Urza Saga, then you're not expressively iterating. You know, you're not doing that for 3 more turns. But this was interesting to me. Because, like, alright, you're pitching one of the best cards ever printed. So, just play that and attack. I drew perfect. Just absolutely perfect draw. Could not ask for a more perfect draw. I think I really messed this game up. Looking back on it now and remembering what's about to happen, I'm pretty sure I went too deep in the sauce in this game. Alright, so we play Yawg. Obviously, we have to kill the DRC. It's just kind of free. Right? We have to get this thing dead. There's no reason to let that thing grow. So now they get to Saga. So their hand is Floodstrand, Underworld Breach. They played the Floodstrand, so it's Underworld Breach plus Unknown. And they get to smack us for 2. But if they smack us for 2, we smack them, but they probably smack us. I don't remember. Yeah, they smack us. We get a 12. Now, I don't remember if I use this. I hope that I don't, looking back on it, but I might. Yeah, see, this was just bad, right? This just limits me for the next turn. I play this game terribly. Don't do this, right? We have the grist. You know, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana next turn. And I'm just making myself go down mana right off the bat. I go instead of having 5 mana next turn with land drop plus this, I now have 4 mana. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. See, now like my cord is stupid. Everything's worse. This was a mistake. I should not have done that. I would have drawn this for turn, but I would have gone, you know, so now I play the Yawgmoth, play the grist. Well, first I shrink this because all I need to do is hit an undying creature and they just die. So put 1 counter on this thing. I'm at 11, so I can't get Draw-Off's Messenger. If I was at higher life total, I'd just cord for Draw-Off's Messenger. Boom, they're dead. I kind of messed around here a little bit. Because I was trying to get, like, another Undying creature. Like, any Yawgmoth, any whatever, and they just die. So, I kind of mess around a little bit too much. Get a Dryad Arbor. Then I shoot the Dryad Arbor into the Yawgmoth. Right? Because if I draw another Yawgmoth, I could still go 1... Yawgmoth, win the game. So, but here, I stop myself. I'm like, all right, what are they going to do? They're going to make a 1-1 here, and I might as well put a counter on it and then maybe proliferate. Or, like, put a counter. I could, like, put a counter on it, cord for another Yawgmoth, put a counter on this, and then proliferate, like, everything. So, I just left everything up right here. So, I could have kept going, and I'm not attacking because I want to use the cord. So no attacks. So now they crack this, make a Doober. See, here's where I mess up, right? I should have just... So they make a dude. Right? They make a dude. And I should have just gone minus... I should have gone... what should I have done here? I guess I can't use this. So that was like my thought process. Is I can't use this to cord because I used it already to cast this. So 1, 2, 3, I have to use the screen and then I can't use the proliferate. So I'm like, all right, let's just pass to their... We put a counter on this. Right, just shoot that thing. Put a counter on it. Beseiju. That's a really good draw. Because we know they have the breach. This sort of offers protection. So I'm like, all right, cool. So now we go to their turn. I should have maybe stopped in the upkeep and like proliferated. So I didn't have the mana. But with the Beseiju, I felt safe to stop anything that they were going to do. So I was like, all right, what are you going to do? And what you do determines what I do. So they're like, all right, I'm going to make people. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So I was like, all right, what are they going to get? They're probably going to get bounce thing or whatever. So I was like, all right, I need to make sure that I can kill everything here. So they ended up getting... I ended up courting now for like a Yawgmoth. Which might have been... I just wanted to clear this board, right? Because they're not going to be able to Underworld Breach me, so I don't need to hold up the Beseiju. So I was like, all right, let's just clear this board. So I got another Yawgmoth. Shot a Yawgmoth at the token. Right? I had to do this now before this search went off, and these things grew. So there's another cord. So, like... It's possible that I should have... No, I couldn't do anything else here. So now I'm like, all right. I need to shrink this and put some things to start proliferating. So I started to spew my board away. So I spewed the Yawgmoth onto this. Which is like, ugh. And now I have a proliferate, which shrinks everything, but it doesn't kill these. So I need to sack this and sack this. So I like threw away my entire board to kill their entire board, basically. just to keep them clear. And I probably didn't need to do this. This was probably an unnecessary risk. So I proliferated everything. And now these are 1, so I have to shoot this at that. Then I might as well just shoot this at that and clear their whole board. Which is what I end up doing. Kill that thing. Kill the other one. And then I'm like, alright, well, this was like 2 lost. Look, I went from having 5 mana, 5 lands to like nothing. And now they just unsummon my thing. And I look at the position I put myself in. Like, I put myself in this position with my poor play. Whereas, like, I just have a Yawgmoth and 2 mana and a Dream. This is just bad. Luckily, they didn't have a way to punish me immediately and just bounce this. So I got another turn of this. So, they didn't have anything. We know the hand is Underworld Breach still. Right? We know that the card in their hand is Underworld Breach. So, I have to hold up this Boseiju. So, my next turn, I just play a bird, and I pass, right? Because, hypothetically speaking, if I tap out, they just go breach, thingy, breach plus thingy, and I'm dead. So, in my head, I'm like, alright, we're going to play it safe here. Because I probably should have just played these second birds. And just been like, 1, 2, hold up the birds. Because they're probably not going to breach me with 2 cards. But if they drew the 2 mana blasting station, I'm just dead, right? So they go breach plus station, land breach station, I'm dead. Or like Emery into station, Emery plus breach, I'm dead. Like Emery hits breach, so I played conservatively and I left the 2 mana up. Probably wrong, but that's what I ended up doing. No, I didn't. Wow. I didn't. I took a risk here, thinking that they had 2 cards. Well, that was stupid. Now I just died a breach. But I guess they drew a card, so they were just trying to set up a breach. But I guess I needed to progress my board. They had really nothing, so I figured they were going to bounce the Yawg, but this is like an example of different plays you could make. Like, I could have just held up the Boseiju, but I didn't. I played the birds, which probably was a mistake. So, what they do? They iterations. I am at 4 life here, so I'm kind of cautious about Bolt. I don't know if these lists are playing Bolt. They generally haven't been, but, you know, whenever you're at 4 against the deck that plays Steam Vents in Modern, be careful. So, we actually kind of have them. Pretty sure I end up killing them this turn. Fetch for a forest. Because we have 1, 2, scavenge it. We can go 1, 2, Strangleroot. Then we can like start drawing some cards. Perfect. Boink, boink, boink. Lethal. So I would have drawn a card and then courted for a Blood Artist and start messing around with these birds. Just to draw cards and ping them. But I drew this. So it's just like, alright, 1, 2. Play Strangleroot Geist. Cord for Blood Artist. Dead. Boink. Alright. So that's game 1. I played this game very terribly. I had a tremendous board presence. And I just kind of threw it all away for like no reason. I could have let him have artifacts. Like, how the fuck are artifacts going to do? But I threw my board away. I went from 5 mana to 2 mana in like the span of 2 turns. Like, it was just not smart. But we ended up winning anyway. Breach can just kill you out of nowhere, but it also just kind of just plays Ledger Shredder and Saga and then does nothing. Alright, so let's go to game 2 against them. How did we sideboard? For the sideboard, I sided out the Thoughtseize, and I brought in... Alright, so let's take a look. I have to close this. So, I brought in Liberator. Let's see. I brought in Liberator. Brought in Force of Vigor. I brought in the Boseiju. I brought in these, and I think I brought in this. These 9. I sided out Thoughtseize. Probably a Yawgmoth. Let's see. What did I do? No, I left this in the sideboard. So, oops. I left this in the sideboard. I sided out a Grist. I probably sided out... This is interesting. I forget what I did. This is why I don't do a sideboard guide, because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. Alright, I boarded out 2 Court of Callings and an Eldritch Evolution and a Strangleroot and a Wall of Roots and a Misty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my boarding looked like this. The idea with Court of Calling is that you generally don't need to win the game. Like with Court of Calling, you don't need to win. Every time I take out Court of Calling, it's when I don't need to win the game. I just need to control them and stop them from winning. All right. And I left in the Yawgmoth. And I cut the Misty Rainforest. So I boarded in like this, right? Thoughtseize, you don't really need the Thoughtseize. You just need to control the graveyard. And this, they can often just, the games become very grindy and like top decking is not good. But controlling the graveyard is very good. So I brought in these 8 for these 8. The Misty swaps for the Boseiju. Wall of Roots and Strangleroot Geist. Wall of Roots isn't that good with these. Strangleroot Geist is good, but I'd much rather have a Yawgmoth as a 1-mana piece of interaction. Because, you know, 1-mana Yawgmoth is just better. Like, you don't really need to, like, kill them and race them and stuff. And Grist, I don't know. Just needed space for some of this hate. Hearst is so good against them. So I bought these 8 in for these 8 out. And let's see how we ended up doing. So, D with a circle. Alright, obviously this hand's unkeepable. This hand is okay. Blood Artist doesn't do anything, so we're going to bottom the Blood Artist. And see what our opponent does. They go DRC Crypt thing. They have 2 cards. They mulligan to 5, which is, you know, obviously very good for us. So we're in a good spot. You know, just start producing mana. Just play a mana dork. Their turn. They just attack me. They don't have a second land. They have 3 cards in hand. This is kind of a freebie. So, you know, here, just, you know, land, dork, attack thing. Just use our mana. We could make 2 dorks and attack for 3, but I'd much rather use 3 mana. Maybe it was right. Maybe it's right to go dork, dork, attack for 3, but I wanted to just get the Strangleroot in play and start beating them. So I went dork, dork, attack for 4. I went 1 dork, attack for 4. So I used all my mana. I could have maybe played this and attacked with this, but then I'd need to get this in play. I don't know. A little awkward. Who knows? They're at 4 cards, so we just kind of get a free win here. They play a Saga, which is cool. They play a Saga, they play a Shredder, they attack for 1. Alright, so now we have Strangleroot Geist, Eldritch Evolutions. So I'm pretty sure I go play an Ignoble, play Peatland, sack the attack with this first because I know I'm going to lose it to the Tormod's Crypt. So we go play a dork. Playing this dork gives them access to Connive here, but I don't really care. I mean, they have 2 cards. What's the harm in letting them connive by playing this first? I'd much rather get to push the damage. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'm not supposed to play this. I'm just supposed to attack for 4 and then Eldritch Evolution to get Yawg and not give them a connive. But I decide, who cares about the connive? They have very limited resources, so they probably can't hurt me. But maybe I'm not supposed to play this because they're probably desperately seeking a connive here to fix their, mess. Look for a 3rd land. So maybe I'm not supposed to play this thing. But I do. Just to get maximum damage. Attack for 1,000,000. And then I play Eldritch Evolution. Sack the thing. Yeah, you see, I shouldn't have played this, but I don't know. Felt okay at the time. Because it would give me 2 mana open that I could, like, start proliferating stuff. But I didn't even think about it. So they proliferate away Underworld Breach. Like, this card's just such a brick in their hand. So we get a Yawgmoth. They crypt us, right? This is fine. This is fine. We get Yawg, and we have to kill the DRC. Right away, DRC must die. And we've already played a land, so we can't really progress too much further, so I just pass, right? So, what do they do? They play a Pithing Needle, which is annoying, but, you know, with Eldritch Evolution, you don't really care. So they attack. Fine. Now we go Wall of Roots. So they only had 1 card in their hand, and they do get a Connive here, but I'm pretty sure I go Wall of Roots, Eldritch Evolution for something that kills a Pithing Needle. Attack with Yawg. No attack. Play Wall of Roots. Play Wall of Roots. See, this was a bit risky, right? Because it gave them the ability to Unholy Heat this. But if they do Unholy Heat this, right, they're at 7. You know, and we're attacking with this. We have a draw. Now I could sit here with this and just ping this and then just do Yawg stuff. But maybe this was too risky to get this. Maybe I shouldn't have played the other Wall of Roots and left myself with 1 mana to activate this to get rid of that. But I didn't, and now they just kind of just die. They had low resources this whole game. Yeah, Emery bins the Unholy Heat. Make a land, make a mana, shoot the Pithing Needle. Again, I kind of exposed myself to Unholy Heat, but they only have 1 card, so just like, what are they going to do? So now we just destroy everything. So play the bird, shoot the bird on Emery, play the Stranglerootgeist, shoot the Stranglerootgeist on Emery. They get to Connive, but again, you know, they're so low resources, I don't know what a Connive's going to do. So now we start shrinking the bird. Now I'm just looking to draw cards, right? Because I have all this mana to play with. So I'm just going to, like, spew and bounce, you know, shoot this, reset it, shoot that, you know, just draw cards. Because they're probably going to die this turn. That's not the card I wanted to draw. So now we shoot this into this. Now we shoot this into the Ledger Shredder again. We drew Grist. Pretty sure I shoot a wall into this. We still have all this mana. Drew an Endurance, which kind of gives us protection. So we don't need to kill them. We just need to kill the Emery. So it's like, alright. Well, let's just kill. Just keep shrinking. And look at it. Stranglerootgeist. I just keep shrinking their stuff. And then here's Chord Blood Artist. Boom. Alright. They mulligan. They didn't really have a good game that game, so sucks for them. But we kind of just, you know, just played our dudes. Maybe I shouldn't have given them the Connives that game, but it ended up not hurting me. Never punished. Alright, so let's go to the next game. It's so nice that this is the only thing I have. Alright, so round 2. Round 2, we played against Guar. Odorous Arungus. I think that's a Guar name. Alright, so let's see. They won the die roll here. This hand's okay. It's kind of boring, but it is what it is. So, obviously, we know that they're Hammer. They're on the mull to 6, but they're Hammer. This hand's not great against Hammer. Get a Forest, Yawgmoth. They really didn't do much this game. They kind of just kept a shitty hand, and we just did nothing. Springleaf Drumland. I was like, all right, well, I might as well just play this and attack with both. Like this, they could just make this into a 2/2, but like, who cares? I'll be able to just keep attacking. Once this thing's a 2/2, it'll be able to just keep attacking into them. So I'm like, all right, this is fine. So they just literally had nothing. So I drew Eldritch. I think I drew Eldritch Evolution, so I could just sack this Eldritch Evolution and get a Yawgmoth. But I was like, they play Spell Pierce, right? So this blue-white control, I was like, what cards do they have in their hand that they wouldn't cast? So I was like, maybe a Spell Pierce, maybe a Blacksmith skill, but I was like, whatever. It doesn't. I mean, they're not doing anything, so I was like, all right, let's just get a Grist. Grist kills this, right? And attack with this. This was probably a mistake here. Like, I killed that thing, right? But I made a mistake here, right? Like, I kill this thing, but they Blacksmith skill, which is fine. I didn't want to walk this into a Spell Pierce, but like here, I attack with both, which is just stupid, right? Just hold one back, protect the Grist. You know what I mean? They're not going to die next turn. I attack with both of these. I should have attacked with this. I wanted to get in with two of these. Like, if I just attack with one, they have the Hexproof, indestructible, so it doesn't do anything. So it's like, all right, well, I'll just attack with both. But, like, I just leave my Grist to die, which is kind of stupid considering I have Yawg. So I just kind of threw away my Grist. But at the same time, if they attack it, then they don't have the Giver effect. And next turn I'm playing Yawg. So I was like, all right, it's fine. So they attack and kill that, and then they just do nothing. So I'm like, all right. Well, we'll get a Forest. Play Yawg. And they just concede. They don't have anything, you know? I don't know what they kept, but I imagine there's a Spell Pierce involved, and they just did not seem to have a very good hand. But you never know with Hammer. They can always go like Paladin, Hammer, Equip, blah, 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 blah. But simple game. Didn't really do much. They just kind of had nothing. Round number 2, game number 2. So, how did we sideboard? We brought in a Thoughtseize, cut a Strangergeist, cut a Yawgmoth, cut 2 cords, cut this, cut this. So, we brought in, so let's do it like this. We cut this, we cut this, we cut this, we cut this. Well, let's do this. Sort mana value. So, I don't think you need Court of Callings to win the game. So this is my philosophy of you don't need to win the game. You just need to get a Yawgmoth in play and dominate the game. So like these Undying creatures are like whatever. So I brought in a Thoughtseize because one way you could die to Hammer is like if they're on the play and they go turn 2 Stoneforge, get Kaldra. I really hate dealing with that. It's very annoying, so I boarded like this, I'm pretty sure. And I think I cut these. Pretty sure I boarded like this. These cords for the Force of Vigors, this for this, Young Wolf for Thoughtseize, Stringer, like this. I think that's how I boarded. Let's take a look and make sure. There's the Misty, Young Wolf, 1, 2, Eldritch. No, I left the Grist in and I cut an Eldritch. So, boop. I play, this is like kind of my problem with sideboarding guides, is that like in the past I haven't brought in the Thoughtseize, but like I'm trying it on the draw, right? On the draw where you'd be like, they'll be like turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 3 Kaldra can be a real issue. So we brought in these 6, cut these 6. The reason we cut cords is because, you know, we don't need to win the game. You don't need a Blood Artist. You just need a Yawgmoth and a board presence to keep their shitters in check. You just have to not die to bullshit, which are the Thoughtseizes. And you have to Force of Vigor to protect yourself from dying on turn 2. And then, you know, you don't need to win. That's when you cut cord, is when you don't need to win. You just need to play Yawgmoth and win. Yawgmoth alone is a win. You don't need to Chord for the Blood Artist to win. You just win with Yawgmoth. So that's how he sideboarded. Alright. So let's take a look. This hand's pretty good. This is like a really good hand because my favorite thing about playing against Hammer is they don't have a way to kill your turn 1 play. Usually my turn 1 play dies and I'm always very sad. But just being able to turn 2 Grist is just... So they played Sigarda's Aid. We're just like, alright. Fetch, get our Doofer. Our Doober. So they played a Saga, and they played Stoneforge, right? So obviously right away the biggest fear is Kaldra. Because I'm not really prepared to deal with it. But they only have 2 cards in hand. So our opponents just mulligan themselves so far this match. So what do they get? They got a Shadow Sphere, which is like, that's interesting. So obviously here, I know that they didn't get Kaldra, so they could have Kaldra in hand. Like, this is kind of a rough spot. So I decide to play this, crack this for a swamp. I didn't want to play one of these and shock myself because I knew I was about to get hit. They were probably going to go Shadow Sphere, Hammer, smash me. So I didn't want to shock myself because I knew that I'm going to need to like mess around to do this. So like here I probably should have just played Liberator, but I went ahead and played the Grist. I went ahead and played the Grist plus the Grist. I could have just killed this Stoneforge, but I'm like, alright, it's fine. If they go all in and equip the Stoneforge and hit me, then I could just kill it with the Grist next turn. So, like, I figured they'd have to whack Grist. And I have this Outland Liberator to, like, stop the Shadow Sphere next turn. So they just go all in. They, Shadow Sphere, Hammer, kill the Grist. So right now they have 1 card in hand. They get another Hammer here, but their other Hammer doesn't get to kill the Shadow Sphere, right? So what do we draw? We play Stranglergeist, and now I just play Liberator. I play Liberator, and I put this land into play tapped. And now, right, I can block here, and then I can use the Liberator to kill the Shadow Sphere. Obviously, that doesn't work into Blacksmith skill, but I'm like, alright, I could block here, then kill this, and then it's no big deal, right? So, yield to the turn. I attack with my Insect, which was probably a mistake. In hindsight, I didn't need to swing with this. They're at 30. I'm at 18. This was stupid, but I did it anyway. That's kind of how it works. Looking back on it now, I see attacks like this that are just so greedy. Just so greedy. But anyway, alright, so I was like, alright, they could get another Hammer here, and then I just block, shoot this. I didn't expect them to get what they got. They got a Pithing Needle here, right? Which is like, okay, that's fine. But the thing with Liberator is that it's 2 cards. So they played the Liberator, and they didn't have another spell. So I'm like, alright, well, I can't use this. So I just took 18. Or I took 12. Which is, like, I should have just blocked with his Insect, but I ended up taking 12 here. Which is not good. So now Liberator flips. Right? This thing flips to Nightbreak, Frenzied Trapbreaker, which means I can attack, kill the Shadow Sphere. You know, like, this thing's just nullified right now. So, first order of business is just Frenzied Trapmaker, attack, kill the Shadow Sphere. Frenzied Trapmaker, attack, kill the Shadow Sphere. They do have the, they have the +1/+1 thing. Blacksmith skill. See, they should have, if they had all this stuff, they should have just got the hammer and put it on this and tried to kill me. Right? Because they had everything to kill me. You know, they didn't need to. But I guess I could have just. I would have gone to kill this, right? And then they would have just blacksmith skilled it. So, like, if they had this, I don't know why they didn't just get a hammer here and kill me. I would have been dead to this. Right? If this was just a colossal hammer, I would be dead. Right? Because they just blacksmith skill. I'd just be like, alright, blacksmith skill this. I'd be like, alright, kill this. They'd just be like, blacksmith skill. I would die. So I don't know what this is about. Odorungus should have just killed me. I should have just been dead. But they didn't, so we take the damage. That thing lives, that's fine. But now I just play Yawgmoth. And then during their upkeep, when the hexproof comes off, I just... Well, I didn't even kill it because like I was just gonna block and then shoot it, but I should have just killed the Shadowsphere during the upkeep, and I won the game. But they had the skills to beat me that game. That was a freebie for me. I should have lost. They should have just got a Colossal Hammer, put it there, and then I would have just killed them, or they would have just killed me because I would have blocked with the Frenzy Trapmaker. Use the ability to kill the Shadowsphere, and they would have blacksmith skilled it, and I would have lost. But I guess they're playing around Force of Vigor or something, you know, so I get it. But we got a freebie with that one. All right, so let's check out game number 3, round number 3. Okay. So... Fur MTG usually plays burn, so I was like, all right, I'm ready for some burn in my life. I lost the die roll again, so this hand just doesn't do anything. I'm mulligan that. This hand sucks too. All right, this hand sucks as well, but I'm on the mull to 5, right? So I have to keep the 5. So we'll probably put back Yawgmoth. I might put back 2 Yawgmoths or Yawgmoth or something. I don't remember what I put back here. 1 Yawgmoth is the easy put back. So I put back 2 Yawgmoths, which probably might not be great. So they're playing Blue-White Control. It's like, that shows me. So Blooming Marsh, High Arc. They pending my dude, so now, you know, Wall of Roots. Yep. So now, what do? They pending that, so very unkind. So, you know, we'll just Thoughtseize here. Their hand was Island, Solitude, Archmage Charm. So we want to win the game with this Grist, so we take the Archmage Charm. So... They returned Kahira to their hand and played an island. So now we just start trying to take over the game with a Grist. Now they have Solitude up here. So I plus the Grist. And I'm just like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to play the Yawgmoth. Right? The longer I wait with this, like, obviously it's going to die to the Solitude. Right? Obviously it's going to die to the Solitude. But the longer that I wait with it, the more chance I have to give them to draw into Counterspell. And I can't even resolve my Yawg. Like, I'm okay playing this Yawg here. I know 3 of the 4 cards in their hand. And they're probably just going to Solitude it, but I get to... They lose a Solitude, I draw 2. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with this. So I just play the Yawg. I accept the Yawgmoth's fate that I'm going to draw 2 cards here. So now we attack. Now they play the Solitude. Blah, 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 blah. And I just, obviously, just kill one, kill the other. Like, I kind of accepted my fate. I'd much rather cash those 2 little insects into cards. So now here we are. They have 5. They've used a Solitude, so we know their hand is Kahira Island, and then they just play Kahira, and they play Colonnade. So their hand is Island plus Unknown. So here we just sort of set up for the future. We're just setting up for the future. Now they have a Colonnade, which is a little bit of a problem. They're animating the Colonnade. They're swinging a Grist. We'll chump here. We chump. Grist goes to 2. We drew another Grist. So plus the Grist. Draw a card. Play Hierarch. Play Blood Artist. Attack. Smash. So there's a lot of damage coming in. And now, like, if they board wipe us, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They go to 6, and I have a 4/4, so they can't really board wipe from here. So now they just animate, attack again. They kill the Grist, which is fine. But now I'm able to attack with my Giralf's Messenger. Put him to 7. And now I play another Grist. Play the birds first, then play the Grist. Which they countered, which is fine, right? Because we still are hitting them with this. They counter the Grist. And now what can they do? They play a Chalice on 1. We don't care about that. This was obviously the best possible draw. So it's like, all right, let's swing. They have no cards in hand. This is the best draw. I might as well get them to... I could have just done this. They had no cards, so I could have just done it. But I, like, attacked to get them to animate. Yeah, this was bad on my part. I didn't realize they had no cards in hand, I think, at this point. So then I just chord for... Then I just chord for the thing and kill them. They laughed because I didn't need to attack. They're right to laugh here. I forgot that they had no cards. I guess I was thinking that they had a card and I needed to, like, whatever. But they're just dead to this. So I don't know what I was thinking with that. That was obviously a mistake. It's always good to watch your replays. Like, this is kind of a slow roll. I didn't need to slow roll them. Looking back on it, I'm sorry for MTG for slow rolling. I didn't realize you had no cards. All right, so we won this game pretty easily. All right, let's check out game 2. So, how did we sideboard? We cut a Wall of Roots. We cut a Bird's Paradise. We cut a Yawgmoth. These cards are very low impact. We cut all evolutions. I hate tapping out at sorcery speed for evolutions. We cut the Misty, and we brought in a Boseiju. These decks tend to play Rest in Peace. So I was like, all right, let's just bring in the other land so we can play, so we could destroy a Rest in Peace or a Chalice, because they did play Chalice as well. So we cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We brought in Boseiju, the 3 Thoughtseizes, a Necromentia, that's 5. We also brought in Sheoldred. We also brought in Endurance. And we also brought in... Let's just do this version of it. Let's just do it here. We cut... Sort mana value. We cut the Misty Rainforest. We cut all of these. Because you don't want to tap out at sorcery speed. We cut a Yawgmoth. We cut a Bird's Paradise. We cut a Thoughtseize. We boarded in 1, 2, 3. I've always brought in 1 Necromentia to try and hit Supreme Verdicts. It's just what I've always done, and I will always do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Liberator. So I'm pretty sure I boarded cut this for the Boseiju. Boseiju just feels free. Whenever you feel like there's going to be anything artifact related, just swap. Thoughtseizes, Necromantias, Sheoldred, Endurance, Wall of Roots. Yep, that's how we boarded. And this hand's good, obviously. We've got Thoughtseize, we've got Hierarch. I'm going to turn one Hierarch here with the high roll dream of turn 2ing the Grist, which is never going to happen. So we just play the Hierarch. Yields. Depending our thing. So now we just play the Wall of Roots. See, with mana base like this, we didn't see it in game 1, but they definitely are playing Leyline Binding. Right? Island, Plain, Swamp, they can Leyline Binding. So we didn't, I don't know if I saw that in game 1, but they definitely are playing Leyline Binding. So here comes Teferi, bounce the wall, no big deal. Now we just play Grist, start plussing Grist. Now we're in like a weird spot, right? What do we do now? I think I decide to Thoughtseize first. I figured if they had a Leyline Binding, they wouldn't have let me untap with Grist. But I cast the Thoughtseize, and they Leyline Binding my Grist. Which was like WTF. So, should have maybe plus the Grist first. But hindsight's 20/20, right? You see these weird lands. I should have thought Leyline Binding. I should have plus the Grist first. There's a mistake. Thoughtseize, their hand is a lot of really good cards against me. So I'm like, alright, well, I should just take the counterspell so I could actually resolve some of my spells. So I was like, alright, we'll take the counterspell. We'll take the counterspell. This is their hand. And now I'm like, Wall of Roots, Ignoble, attack and kill that. I don't think they're going to Solitude to save this, so Ignoble, attack, killed that. Now we're setting up to be able to chord for a Yawg here. So this is their hand. Obviously, if they go land Verdict, it's a disaster. Right? It's total disaster. But it is what it is, you know? I needed to kill this Teferi, so I needed to just extend. And, like, if they miss a land drop here, which is, like, perfect. So now we just play this. And we attack for 2. And now, pretty sure they play the Dress down here. And I'm like, alright, they've tapped out. Let's resolve Yawgmoth. Obviously, they're going to Verdict or Solitude next turn. But I'd much rather cash in these 4 derpy things for cards. Right? Let's just play Yawg. We got the Dryad Arbor even. I'm like, alright, let's get a Yawg here. And let's fill up our hand. So it's like, alright, here's the Yawgmoth. Now we start sacking the insect. Now we start sacking the thing. Now we start sacking the thing. Now we sacked our entire board. And we got a bunch of garbage. But they have a Dress Down in play. So they play the Dress Down. Now their hand is Verdict, Verdict. This isn't in their hand. So their hand is Verdict, Verdict, Solitude, plus 3 unknowns. So they just go land, pending that. Which is fine. But we have the Boseiju here. So I'm pretty sure Thoughtseize. Take the Teferi, obviously. Teferi's a huge problem. Teferi. So their hand is Verdict, Verdict, Solitude. And I think I just go Boseiju this, start plussing Grist. And then I play this land tapped. So, you know, 1 Grist, 1 land. It's a fair exchange. Fair deal for a fair price. So they do nothing. So now they have a Solitude that they're going to play. So I attack first with my 1/1. before I make another. Because if I make another, then they just go Solitude, kill the other one, block here, attack Grist. That's very bad. So attack for 1 first. Then I play, make a token. I could be drawing with this Peatland, but I don't want to play the Liberator. I don't want to overextend because I know their hand, right? Their hand is verdict, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, all right. I don't need to play everything. I'll just hold up the Endurance to block the Solitude if they attack. So they play that, they exile that. Wow, see, all right, I just made a terrible mistake here, right? I played the Endurance and I targeted myself, which was kind of dumb because I had Grist in play. But in my head, I was like, all right, well, I've got 2 Yawgmoths in there, or a Yawgmoth. I've got a bunch of Thoughtseizes. I'd much rather recycle that stuff. But that was kind of stupid. Considering I have Grist, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But looking back on it now, it was kind of stupid. Looking back on it then, it was kind of stupid. I even say something in the chat. But I don't remember how many creatures there were. I'm actually going to go pause and look at that. I'll be right back. Alright, so there were 5 creatures in the graveyard. And there were 3 Thoughtseizes. I really wanted the Thoughtseizes back in. There wasn't a Yawg because our Yawg got exiled. So that was probably wrong. But I did want the Thoughtseizes back in the deck. But in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have just targeted nothing. But what did they do? They ended up drawing... They drew Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Which I think they should have just tucked our Grist here. I don't know why they didn't... Why they allowed me to just kill their thing. That seemed loose, to put it mildly. But I guess if they tuck, I just attack and kill it. So I guess it's dying anyway. You might as well draw a card. So I play the Yawgmoth here. I probably should have just shot the insect token to kill this. But I didn't want them to like take this and then make me sack this to kill this. So I was like, all right, we'll just play the Yawgmoth. I still sack the insect token, but I wanted this as like security in case they did something to this token. So we kill the Teferi, play the lands. Our Dryad Arbor's back in our deck right now. I don't want to attack because if I attack, then they just hit me back. See, I said that was really dumb of me. I'm watching something and that was just stupid. So we still have the Dryad Arbor back in our deck because we shuffled it back in with the Endurance. So their hand is still verdict. They return Kihira. So I should crack this. Oh, I plussed and got rid of Sheoldred. And here I attack, which was kind of dumb. I don't know why I did this. Because then I'm like, alright, I could go crack this, block. I could get block. I could crack this for a Dryad Arbor, double block this. But I forgot that they had their stupid commander back in their hand, or companion. It's like, oh, well, now I can't block. That was pretty dumb. So they played Colonnade, and they have 2 verdicts in their hand. So now I just chump here, and like I shouldn't have attacked with this. This was a very good draw, obviously. And I just plus and try and jam. I guess I should have just gone for it now, right? But I wait. And they attack with the Colonnade. And then I go to Chord. And I lose the game to a counterspell. Hallowed Moonlight, right? This was actually cool. They cast Hallowed Moonlight. And these 2 were attacking the Grist, so I just got another Grist. So Hallowed Moonlight says, if a creature would enter this battlefield and wasn't cast, exile it. So if I get a Yawgmoth, it would be exiled. So instead, I'm like, alright. So I got a Grist, because it enters as a Planeswalker for some reason. And then I block. Offer the trade here, because they still have 2 Verdicts in hand. And that's that. They play Binding on the Grist. So now I'm kind of like in shock that I lost this game. I remember how I lost this game now, like thinking back on it. But this was kind of foolish of me. This was very foolish. So now, like, we play the Dryad Arbor. I don't know why I fetched there. Probably shouldn't have. Yeah, so now I'm just looking to chord for Yawgmoth here. Yeah. Chord for Yawg. Shrink that thing. So this is just so stupid. I'm just going to the point where I'm just dead to this Colonnade. And I plus, like, look at how, look, I just put myself dead to the Colonnade. Like, this was so dumb. I didn't know what I was thinking. So, right? Like, obviously they're going to Verdict this turn. And then, like, I sack this, and, like, I go too far here. This is just too lost in the sauce. I shrink this. I'm like, alright. Now I'm like, I need to find an answer for this Colonnade. So I just drew too much. And even still, I could have won this game. Alright. Oh, whoa, stop. So, like, oh, shit. Shit. Alright, so I punted there, right? I just skipped everything and it went really fast. But essentially, I dumped my whole hand and I played a Birds of Paradise to prevent myself from dying to this. What I should have done, right, was play the Strangleroot, play the Strangleroot, use the Grist to sack the Strangleroot to kill the other Strangleroot, which would have put me at 4 life. So that if I had something, right? If I had something, I wouldn't have died to this. Like, I wouldn't have died because the Solitude would have left the battlefield with the Blood Arts trigger. So I should have used this to kill the 2 things and put myself at 4. So that if they had a way to remove the Birds of Paradise, I would have not died. So that was a mistake here, this last turn. I plus this to think I could kill them with alt. But basically, I put myself dead to a removal spell on my Birds of Paradise. Or a Leyline Binding or something. That was foolish. I went too deep, got too lost, and died. Because I was too foolish. Too greedy, too foolish. That was bad. That was a bad round. Alright, so now let's go to round number 3. Round number 3, game number 3. Alright. I threw away that last game, getting too lost in the sauce, drawing too many cards. Same sideboarding? Yeah, same sideboarding. Demonic Tutors joined the game, or Demonic Tutor chooses to play first. Nice. This hand's kind of sketchy, but if our birds live, we're just like the best. I shocked myself. They pending my thing. We did not draw lands. I play the birds. They don't have a removal spell. So here I'm like, alright, I need to progress my board before something terrible happens. So I'm like, alright, Wall of Roots, Yawgmoth. Alright, perfect. We're kind of Teferi proof. They didn't have, they played Teferi, they bounced our Yawgmoth, but, you know, who cares. So here, I'm just like, alright, Grist, plus got a Yawgmoth and a Grist. So they plussed. I mean, at any point in time, I'm just dead to a verdict, right? I'm just in so much trouble to a verdict. So I'm like, all right, let's play a Blood Artist so that if they verdict, they'll take a bunch of damage. So I play the Blood Artist, and then I'm like, all right, let's just full swing. I make sure I kill the Teferi, and they just don't have anything, and I'm just like, what the F is going on? I don't want to overcommit, right? I don't want to commit to two things in case they have a verdict. So I'm like, all right. Pass the turn, I guess. So here they play pending on that, which is fine. All right, so now they take their turn. Now they don't just take a million damage from the Blood Artist. They take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then get hit for 2. So it'd be 9 damage. Plus Gristalt, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they'd be dead. They would exactly die. So they just do nothing. And here I'm like, well, what the F? Here I'm like, I don't know what to do. If I play... I could play the Yawgmoth, but then it just walks into a counterspell. So I really don't know what to do. I figured I would attack with everything and try and get the Solitude out. Right? I was like, all right, well, we'll try and get the Solitude out. So I plussed again and got 2 insects, which was really sick. I could have played a Yawgmoth here. I probably should have played a Yawg here, but I didn't because I was just like afraid of 5 cards. I was like, there's no way they don't have a counterspell in these 5 cards. Just absolutely no way. So I was like, all right. So here they go, Archmage Charm. And they did it XD because I hit multiple Grist Insects. And once again, just stone dead to verdict, as always. Binding my Grist, which obviously hurt a lot. So now I'm like, all right, now I have to play a Yawg. Well, eventually I'll figure out how to attack. So now we play a Yawg. Oh no, we play Liberator. Jeez. I'm playing such a dangerous game. If they just have Verdict at any time, I just lose. They didn't have Verdict. Now I can't Thoughtseize and play Yawg because I only have 2 black. So I attack with everything to make them do something. Here's a Solitude. And now I play another Yawg. And they had a counterspell. That's Subtlety. Now they're at 1 card. I put that Yawg on the bottom. I play this. They play Hallowed Moonlight. And they have nothing. They scry. And I drew this, which lets me Thoughtseize. And they have that. And then I play Yawgmoth, kill this, attack for 3. Alright, so I got very lucky that they didn't have a board wipe. There's the Verdict. They finally got it at the end there. If they would have had a Verdict at any point in that time, I would have lost this game very badly because I only had a couple of lands in play. But they didn't, so we got there. Alright, can I do... Alright, I'm going to stop for now, and we'll do... Well, I don't need to say that. I'll be back in a few. Okay, we're back for round number 4. And Y Principle. I used to thought they played Tron, but they do not play Tron. I learned they do not play Tron. This hand's kind of medium, but I keep it. I hate keeping Dryad Arbor, but so I played Scalding Tarn Ragavan, which we had no answer to. You know, Forest this. Oh no, I shocked myself. Wow. Why didn't I play the forest there? Interesting. I figured this was going to die, I guess. I guess I figured I wanted double black. I figured this thing would be toast 100%. And want to have double black to cast Yawg. So they hit me. This is pretty good for them, but we can... What do we end up doing here? Play the land, crack. I get the swamp here, which is kind of stupid. I'm just thinking like Blood Moon. I don't know why I got this swamp. But like green. I have a lot of green, I guess. Wall of Roots. Play Wall of Roots. I play the Wall Roots because now I have like a perfect wall against... I keep letting them connive though. Wall of Roots. I didn't let them connive this game. This was a weird game, if I remember correctly. A very weird game. So I get attack here. I don't play the second thing because I don't want to give them the connive. They're attacking me. They don't even attack me. So we just have a little standoff here for a minute. And I slowly play one Strangaroo Geist a turn. Obviously, if I attack, they block. It's not a good attack for me. So I don't make it the attack. They don't really do much either. I figure they must have just be sitting on a handful of counterspells. So I play the Strangaroo Geist. I figure I could attack here, but it goes disastrous because they have a dress down for some reason. For some reason, they have a dress down main deck game 1, and it's quite the blowout. I can't play Yawgmoth, right? Because I went 1, 2, so I can't go 1, 2, 3 because the dress down kills all the mana dorks. Very, very, very annoying. So, dress down. They get to kill 2 of my things. Very, very annoying. I play the Wall Roots. I don't have to worry about the connive. The dress down main deck was super annoying. They attack me for 6. So now I have so many permanents in play. I cast Yawg, which of course they have the counter for. And then I cast the other Chord, which I have the connive, and they have another counterspell for. And that is that. This game is ended. They bolted me, blah, 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 blah. This game's over. All right. Game number 2. So let's see how we sideboarded. We brought in a Thoughtseize. So we'll do it the other way here. Oop, I have Pioneer up. Modern. Yawgmoth. So I had a Sheoldred in this list. Sheoldred. So I cut the Eldritch Evolutions. You just can't play Eldritch Evolution against a counterspell deck. I brought in a Thoughtseize. I cut a Yawgmoth. What else did I cut? Ignoble Hierarch. So Ignoble, Yawgmoth, Eldritches. And Misty. A Misty. And I brought in, I imagine, Sheoldred, Unlicensed Hearse, the Boseiju, and an Endurance. Pretty sure this is how I boarded for this matchup. I like to have 2 Thoughtseizes against that deck. Sheoldred seems good. Just gain life, especially off Connives. Connives do a bunch of damage. Hearst obviously pleases the graveyard. So I boarded these 7 out. You can't have Eldritch Evolutions get to a counterspell deck. It just doesn't work. Just casting Eldritch Evolution into open mana. So this hand is really good. Just Thoughtseize them. I took their Hearst. So they bobbled themselves. They did a bunch of bobbling. I just put the Hearst in play immediately and go to work eating their graveyard. Just this whole game becomes about this Hearst. So this is like Misty. I know about a Scalding Tarn, and then you play a Flooded Strand. Come on. So they should have played this one a little bit better. But I guess I do that too. It's hard to do that perfectly all the time. So now we just get the forest, play that, play this, yields. Just eat, always just eating. They killed our thing, blah, blah, blah. They killed our Yawgmoth with the dress down. Blah, blah, blah. So here, I'm pretty sure we just jam a Yawg. We know that there's a Petty Theft in their hand, right? From the Thoughtseize. They use the dress down. So, they've also used the Scalding Tarn. They also use the Misty. They also use the Bobble. So we know about a Murktide and a Brazen Borrower. Oop, I'm clicking the wrong thing. So then I play Yawgmoth. Yawgmoth resolves. I don't want to use the Unlicensed Hearst. I know they have a Murktide, so I still am going to just use the Unlicensed Hearst as opposed to doing anything too wild. Like attacking, for example. I need to use this. I'm pretty sure I use it during the upkeep just to get rid of these 2 things to keep them off casting a Murktide. So they cast a Consider. So I eat the Consider and I eat the Unholy Heat. So their hand is Brazen Borrower, Murktide. They abrade that thing, which really sucks. And now, I'm pretty sure I go Hierarch, attack for 3. Play the Hierarch, attack for 3. Yeah, I gotta get that Exalted trigger in. They still have a Brazen Borrower. Pretty sure after I swing for 3, I sack the Hierarch. Nope. Apparently I draw a card. Liberator. I play Liberator. And they bounced the Yawg. We knew that was coming. Maybe I wasn't supposed to use the Peatland when they had that bounce spell in hand. So they play a Murktide. 4/4, not really a big deal. So we play a Yawgmoth, they play a Dress Down. Alright, so they played a Dress Down, we played a Yawgmoth. We waited till the end of turn, and then when the Dress Down went down, we just started shrinking this thing to draw cards. And now they're just in a bad spot. Right, they have Iteration. They don't have any lands, and they're just dead. I attacked with this when they had the thing. I attacked with this because when they had Dress Down, because it would make it a lot easier to kill this thing. If they had 2 damage on it, I just have to shrink it twice. That's why I attacked with it. They played another Dress Down, but they played another Dress Down at the end step. But now they're just dead, right? We play this Dross Messenger. They go to 9. We wait till this goes to the end step, and then we just bounce the Messenger. As soon as I figure out how to get triple black. I thought seize them. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Huh. Oh no, it wouldn't work because it's even life, yeah. So I got the Blood Artist. Because this thing doesn't trigger the -2 life. So it comes into play and we go to 11. And then we go to 10. They go to 9. We go to 9. They go to 8. So we die first. If the life totals are odd, it doesn't work. Right? Think if I'm at 3, right? I'm at 3. You're at 3. I sack. I go to 2. You go to 1. I go to 1. Right? Then I can't use the next thing to like kill you. If that makes sense. Does that make sense at all? Life total has to be even for it to work. Not odd. It's weird. Dress down comes into play. We let the dress down go, then we start messing around and killing that thing. Right? Just start pinging. Start pinging. Resetting on the Yawgmoth every time, just doing a bunch of damage to him. Just doing a bunch of damage to him. And now they kill the Yawg, but by then, you know, it's way too late. They played another Murktide. And pretty sure I just played Messenger. Just like Messenger, I like Murktide killed this. Right? Play the Grist. 1, 2, 3. Shoot this, kill the Murktide, attack. I think that's what I did. God, my tapping is just awful. I'm just tapping back and forth. God, that's so embarrassing. Play this. Sack the Blood Artist. Kill the Shadow. They go to 2. Now they're just dead to Dross Messenger next turn. Iteration, Shredder, boom, dead to draw. Blink. Alright, that was game 2. What the heck? Alright. So now we are at round number 4. Game number 3. So here we are again. So we're on the draw, obviously. Same boarding. Yawgmoth is pretty unimpactful. Same with Hierarch. Evolutions, you don't want to walk into counterspells and cut the Misty for the thing. In case you have Blood Moon and Hearst, those cards are very powerful against us. We'll keep this hand. This hand's sweet. Weak to Blood Moon, but sweet. They just passed here. So, you don't want to play the bird if they're just holding a bolt. It just doesn't do anything. So I was like, alright, I'm just going to Thought Seize you. So they have a Shredder and a Bolt. So we take the Shredder. The Shredder has text. Bolt just kills our bird. They played this. They chose to shuffle. Now it's our turn. We know they have the Bolt here, right? So no point in playing the birds. I might just play the birds to get them to get rid of it. But I'm pretty sure I played double wolf because we know they have the bolt. They'll just bolt the birds, which we don't want to have happen. And then so there's just still, they played the canal, so their hand is bolt and birds. So we draw and play a birds. And then we play another birds. Right? And now we can chord for another birds, but I might as well attack for one and then chord for Dryad Arbor when they kill a bird. But so we attack for 1, right? Because we want to be able to use one of these chords. We want to cast Yawg next turn. That's basically what we want. And so now they go to bolt one of our birds. They go to bolt a bird. And they do Unholy Heat instead of bolt. So we know they still have the bolt. So now I chord for Dryad Arbor. And they bolt the Dryad Arbor. So there's the bolt. So we know they have the steam vents. And then they should play a land. And they tap out for a Murktide. And then I go for a land and I play a Yawgmoth. And they concede. Which, I don't know if they should have conceded, but like, yeah, I mean, the game was pretty over. I didn't have them dead, right? They're not dead there, but the game is over. I get to draw 1,000,000 cards. You get to shrink this, draw 4, shrink it, shrink it. I've already made a land drop, so I can't win the game. I could, yeah, but, we're pretty set here. This game's over. They conceded. They conceded to Yawg plus 2 Undyers. Again, we can't win, but they conceded the game. This game is over, right? Shrink it, draw, 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 draw. All right, so that was round 4. So round 5, Sly Daniel. What do we play? What's Sly Daniel doing? The things are still all messed up. Let's see. This hand's good, obviously. Forest Duber. Opponent plays Eldrazi Temple Expedition map. So, what do? Grist. So now, what do? They play... Look at this turn. This turn's pretty crazy. They just get to Thought-Knot Seer or other Grist. So, now we just get to play Wall of Roots plus play this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is Axis 3. Now I could have used this to kill this. Maybe I should have. But they had another one of these Thought-Knot Seers, which was very annoying. So I chorded for... This was dumb. I guess I could have... I think I chorded for a Strangleroot just because I didn't want to lose it. I could have got a Dross Messenger, but then I can't block this thing. If I tap all 6, I can't block here, and they just get to attack this down to 1. I wanted to be able to block it and then kill it. I wanted to use these things as loot pinatas. So I sack the Strangleroot, kill this one, get in for the old attack, draw a card, play my dorks. I tapped wrong here. I obviously shouldn't have tapped this. I tapped wrong. I was really tired at this point. So play this, attack. I used the extra land to kill the Eldrazi Temple because I had that floating mana, which in hindsight was a mistake. So they attack again. We'll just jump. They play Thought Matter Shaper, Chalice on 1. First we draw a card. We just need to get to Yawgmoth here. Then we kill the Thought-Knot Seer. Then we play this. I'm pretty sure I don't attack. because I don't want them to get a card here. Maybe I do attack. Oh, I do. Attack for 5, so if they do block, they have to chump. Which they chump, and they get Karn the Great Creator. And Karn the Great Creator gets an Ensnaring Bridge, which is very annoying. So now we kill the Karn. I remember this game was super long and annoying now that I think about it. So we killed the Karn and did a bunch of damage to them. They have 4 cards in hand. They play Ensnaring Bridge. They play Chalice on 0. We crack the fetch. They still have 2 cards in hand. And we just attack with everybody. Attack with everybody. They had Dismember for that. And they take the 6. Now I start using this Wall of Roots here, I think. Because there's 4 creatures. By plus. I could use it at the end of their turn. They played a Karn. They got Spyglass to block this. We drew Yawgmoth, so we have to attack for 0 to kill the Karn. Right? Because this attacks for 0, then gets exalted, so we hit the Karn. They draw a tower. We draw Yawgmoth. And then we just play Yawgmoth. And now I have them. They can blow up the Ignobles, which is fine, right? They blow up the Ignobles. I float mana. Float black. In case I have to proliferate. There's Blood Artist. Boom. Game over. I had 20 draws here. Just shoot this. Bounce these 2. Draw Blood Artist. Pretty sure the opponent makes me do it. They're only at 5, but, you know, ping them, 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 ping. Ping, 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 ping. Ping, ping, ping. All right, we got there. Game number 2. So, how'd we board? I left in the Thoughtseize. I cut a Yawgmoth, cut a Cord, cut an Eldritch Evolution, and I brought in 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Ignoble, 1, or not Ignoble. We'll just do it. We'll just do it here. We did. I brought in Sheoldred, Beseiju, 1 Force of Vigor, and 1 Outland Liberator, I believe. And I believe I cut an Eldritch Evolution. I think I left this in. I think it's these 4 for these 4. Let's take a look. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I poured it up to 61 cards. So I cut out 1, 2, 3. And I cut out... I didn't swap out the Misty. So I poured it in 3, and I had 61. I was so tired by this point, and I was watching League of Legends Worlds, so yeah, 61. Oops. And this hand's kind of medium. But I kept it with the 2 Beseijus. Played that. Played that. Now here I mess up, right? I could play the Swamp here. If I play the Swamp here, it's kind of like... The Swamp is the best way to get to the Grist. But I ended up playing the Dryad Arbor, and then they killed it, and it was like really bad. Like, I should have played the Swamp and hoped that I would have drawn the third land. But I didn't. They play Ballista. They kill the... This is a bit of a mistake here. So I would have drawn this. If I would have played Swamp, and then I would have drawn this for the third land, and then had Grist next turn. But, I mean, they did throw away a Ballista. So, then they get the Matter Reshaper. Now they have no cards in hand. So, the rest of the game's pretty easy if they have no cards. So, you just play Grist. Well, I just Evolution. What did I Evolution for? I guess I got Messenger, right? Because they have the Desert. I just wanted to, like, get... I guess I didn't need to Grist because I just wanted to be able to kill them, right? The second they tap out. The second they tap the Scavenging Grounds, they just died. So I wanted to Evolution these two away before they could use this, I guess. They just drew nothing. I play Yawgmoth here. There was no point in doing anything because they had the Scavenging Grounds up. So I'm just like, alright, I'll just do nothing. And the second they tapped the Scavenging Grounds, they just died. But they just never tapped it. Just played some birds. They just did nothing. This was like the easiest win ever. My opponent just didn't do anything. And then our next turn, I was just like, alright, well, I'll play Eldritch Evolution on one of these Birds of Paradise. I got, you know, I'm just messing around, right? Just messing around. Eventually get a Blood Artist and I kill them. Right? Not really very exciting. My opponent didn't do anything. I sacked and got another, you know, just messed around. And I didn't even have to use this because I still had the Scavenger Grounds to kill them. So, that was a pretty easy game. That was pretty easy. It's easy when your opponent doesn't do anything against you. You know? Alright, so that was round 5. So, what's round 6? W. Scott Jackson. See how the Pioneer's doing. Oh, the Pioneer starts, so I'll finish the rest later. Alright, here we are. W. Scott Jackson. I'm on the draw. This hand's okay. Showing the Orphan Guard, which means probably blue-white control. Well, I should play a fetch land, play a Mire and pass. See, here, so they fetch Spara, right? Which means they're probably some kind of 4-color control playing Leyline Binding. So, played the Peatland, played a Wall of Roots, passed. They played a Misty, passed. I wanted to save the Boseiju in case they were actually playing Leyline Bindings. All these blue-white control decks are playing that these days. Play Wall of Roots. Pass. So we have Chord for 2 here. But I wanted to Chord at the end of their turn. I don't want to Chord on their main phase, especially because I used this already. So it'll be a Chord for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd much rather wait till their end step and get something really good. Or get a Grist or something. So I think I Chorded here for Messenger or Grist, one of the two. I think I got Grist. Yeah. So they can remove it. They have Binding, so this is fine, right? They got Grist out of there. So now I try to cast Yawg, which they have a counterspell for, which is annoying. Not the end of the world. I just pass. They're holding on to the grist. They verdict. So I float 2. Leyline binding this. This gives us back the grist. So now we have grist. And we have grist plus Strangleroot. Attack. They cast Teferi. And they killed our grist again. So we have a Strangleroot Geist. And I'm pretty sure I attack Teferi. And then Strangleroot Geist. Another grist, I think. Looks like they have another counterspell. Yep. Okay. So now we're kind of not in a great spot. They have a lot of mana. They play a Jace. They Jace Prismatic Ending our thing, and they plussed with Jace. I'm pretty sure I lost this game. Yeah. They have active Jace. Attack me with the building. Yeah. Play Wall Roots. Play Blood Artist. Now they have Jace. They have so much going on. Oh. I corded for Yawgmoth. They unsummon the Yawg. Alright, I'm slacking here. I need to not skip through everything. So they tapped out to draw a card. And then I corded for Yawg. They're returning this to my hand. I'm just going to sack, ping them. Sack, ping them. Just pinging them a little bit. Trying to draw some cards. And then I concede. Because they, I've tapped out and they just hit me with the haul. I just punted this game away. So let's go. Game number 2. Round number 6, game number 2. So, how did I sideboard? I boarded out a Birds of Paradise, a Wall of Roots, a Yawgmoth, 4 Eldritch Evolutions, and a Misty. And I brought in Thoughtseize, Necromantia, Sheoldred, the Boseiju, the Outland Liberator. So it looked like, let's just do it. We left the Force Figure out. We sort mana value. So we took out all the Eldritch Evolutions. Hate main phase counterspells. One of these. And we brought in Endurance, Necro, this. Pretty sure we brought in this. I brought in the Endurance. I think it was this 6 for this 6. Let's see if that makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Misty. 8 versus Sheoldred. This 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wall Roots is kind of lame. Against it doesn't really attack. Same with this. These cards don't really do much damage. Alright. So we lost round. So we have to win these next 2 games to beat them. This hand's okay. Dork. Pass. They killed our thing. We play 2 things. So Wall of Roots into thing. Nice, nice, nice. Now we just play Yawg. No, I don't play Yawg. I play the Blood Artist. Notice this gets tapped for green, that gets tapped for black. I guess I didn't want to play the Blood Artist. So they binding a Yawgmoth. They pass. I don't think I play Yawg. Oh, I'm just scared of playing Yawg. Just scared of playing Yawg. They just don't do anything. I just don't do anything. Well, got a second Yawg, so I try and jam. Gets countered immediately. Attack for 1. They play Colonnade. Puts the Grist in play. Grist gets countered. Attack for Yawg. Attack with the Yawgmoth. Teferi. Teferi was really good for me. So now it allowed me to play Yawg. Should have probably used the Yawgmoth here. Probably used this Wall of Roots for 1 and then like held up this. That would have been better. And then I swing the Yawgmoth at the Teferi. I start drawing some cards. They have another Leyline Binding. Just drawing all the cards. Sack the Wall of Roots. Just try and draw some cards. You know? Yeah. See? Just threw this game away. Imagine if I had used the Wall of Roots mana, and then I have this 1 land untapped, and then I can Thoughtseize them here. I'd be in a much better spot. But this, like, actually was actively a disaster. Like, use the Wall of Roots mana. That was just atrocious. But I was playing very poorly this match, and like this play cost me quite a bit. I just couldn't Thoughtseize this turn. Imagine if I could have taken this Jace. Imagine if I had taken this Jace. Crazy. Then tap. But I get to start off with a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize. Like, these are some solid cards they have. Imagine if they didn't have this Jace in play, though. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I take the Archmage Charm. And then I play Liberator. Liberator gets me a Yawg if I kill this Leyline Binding. So their hand is this. So I play Liberator. They play Dress Down, which is fine, right? I don't really know why they played the Dress Down. I guess they were looking for a counterspell. So now they made a mistake here. Now we get to attack and kill, hit Jace, hit Teferi. What do we hit? We swing at Jace, right? Yeah. Then they mess up here, right? They tried to Solitude, right? They tried to play a Solitude before this faded, but they forgot that Solitude now has no text. So, like, they just shouldn't have done this. They wanted to kill this, but they fucked up. And this fuck up cost them the game, right? Because they threw away the Rest in Peace, and now, you know, unless they wanted to just put this in play, which I highly doubt, they just messed that up. So now that thing dies. Now we have this targeting this, right? So now at any point we just sack this to kill that. So they brainstorm, which is, you know, good for them. They crack the fetch, and they attack. Take the damage, obviously. They plus. And they don't do anything, which is pretty wild to me. No, they do something. They returned the Kira. Okay, it's like, alright. So I just kill that, get my Yawg back. Go to my turn and cast Stranglerootgeist. Boink, game over. Yeah, I don't know what they managed to do, what they wanted to do with this Solitude, but I don't think they meant to just play it like that for no reason and no value. I think that was a mistake. So we won that game. Now let's go to the round number 6, game 3. So won that game. Q. This is a weird hand. I keep this hand because I'm on the draw, but this is a bit of a gamble. I drew perfectly. Played the Hierarch. They killed my Hierarch. Wall of Roots Yawgmoth. Beautiful. Wall of Roots Yawgmoth, so good. They don't do anything. We chord for 0. I chord for 0 so I can be able to cast Yawg 100% next turn. If I draw land, I can go Thoughtseize into Grist, right? That's why I chord for 0. So now I have 4 mana. If I draw land, I can go Thoughtseize Yawg, but if I don't, I can go Thoughtseize Grist, which is just equally as good. So I have Thoughtseize here. They counter it. Oh, they draw 2. They drew 2, so this was their hand. We take the Teferi. Their hand is Solitude, Solitude, Deluge, Misty. Hall of the Storm Giants. So now we just play Grist. Plus attack. They played the Misty. So they have the Memory Deluge. I plus crack. I try and hardcast Yawg here. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have double Solitude, though, right? They have Solitude, so I have 6. I can get Dross Messenger here. So if it was my next turn, I could get another Yawgmoth, but so I don't attack because I want a chord. I know they're going to Memory Deluge, right? So they crack. They cast Deluge. In response, I go to chord for Dross Messenger. Just so I can start hurting them, you know, do a bunch of damage to them. They recognize this, and they Solitude my Yawgmoth. They Solitude, pitch Solitude. So they have 1 Hall of Storm Giants in hand, plus 1 unknown. They don't have this in play yet. So they go to get Yawg, and I just start drawing a million cards. First I sack the Yawgmoth. Then I shoot the insect at the Yawgmoth, right? Just keep doing this. Just because, like, they're probably looking for a Supreme Verdict, and this is just, like, Supreme Verdict protection. This thing only has 1 charge left, you know? So it's just like, alright, let's just cash in and draw a bunch of cards. So I basically get a new hand off this. I just prepare myself to get Supreme Verdicted next turn. So I'm like, alright, let's just make it sure I don't get Supreme Verdict. So this thing resolves, and I drew the Messenger here, which was really annoying because I had cast this X equals 3. So I drew the Messenger, and I'm like, shit. So I ended up just getting a Strangleroot Geist. It's like, alright, well, fine, you know? Strangleroot Geist is fine. So then they have Pending for Grist. But our hand is stacked at this point. They did kill our thing. But look at our hand. It's so stacked. So we have a lot of options here. I'm pretty sure... I don't even remember what I do. I think I just play a Grist and play a Birds. Or something. Yeah, it's always just Grist. I was low life, so I didn't tap these. I chose to save 1 life instead of attacking for 1. And now they have Orphan Guard. So now we play Necro. I named Supreme Verdict. I saw their hand is nothing. And I get all the Supreme Verdicts out of their hand. Everyone's on Hallowed Moonlight now for some reason. So now I see they have nothing. And, you know, just plus play the Messenger, attack. And now they can't do anything. Right? Now we have so much power and we just chord for Yawg. I just play a Blood Artist. And then swing with everybody, I guess. Oh, I chord for Yawg. This was kind of dumb. So I put myself almost dead doing this. They have a counterspell. Oh, they did have a counterspell. So I should have just attacked here, right? I should have just attacked. And then they counter. Now I have to plus with Grist. Because they have this thing. So if I like attack with this and they have 1 answer to this, I die. Because I'm at 4. So I just leave these chump blockers up. They have Dress Down, which kills that. Then it's our turn, and we draw Strangleroot. I play Strangleroot. I attack them for a lot. I maybe should have left this attack with this, but I guess I just missed it. They drew a Twara. Now they're just dead. Dead to Gristol. Interesting game. I made some mistakes there. Maybe I should have just been patient with the chord, but I just wanted them dead because I saw their hand last turn. Alright, so that was round... It's round number 6. So let's... This is a 9-round tournament. 9 rounds. Alright, so let's check out round number 7. Mitchell Socks. What does Mitchell Socks have? Alright, this hand's obviously sweet. We have Grist. Grist is the best thing ever. Grist is the best thing ever, so we're obviously going to keep this hand. They are... I think this... So they played Wooded Foothills and played Steam Vents, which means creativity, right? It's not Murktide, because Murktide needs to fetch Island. So the second we saw Wooded Foothills, we knew it was So we obviously play that into that, blah, blah, blah. Now, grist. Now they're icing us, but we still can grist here, which is all we ever want to do, is just play grist. Grist. Attack. Creativity. Yep. Pretty sure I just drew chord, right? So now that I have chord, it's just elementary. Because I can go 1, 2, Blood Artist, plus, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's just almost lethal. Blood Artist plus. And I'm pretty sure I kill them this turn. This is my turn 4, and I think that I kill them. If I'm not mistaken, we just sack, bing, 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 bing. So if you would have told me that I was able to kill them from this spot, I wouldn't have believed you, but pretty sure they die this turn. So we sack this, target that. Draw a card. Bing. Sack the insect, target the young wolf, sack the young wolf, target that. Bop, 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 bop. Eventually we sack that. I'm still looking for a young wolf because they just die with a young wolf. But I don't. Just ping, 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 ping. Ping, 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 ping. Just keep pinging. They're dead. Blood Artist is so good. Sorry, math is hard. Alright, well that was pretty easy. So, let's go to game number 7. Well, round 7. So how do we board? We boarded... We took out a Birds of Paradise. And we took out a Young Wolf. And we took out a Chord. We took out Evolutions. I don't like walking these into Spell Piercer. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we brought in 3 Thoughtseizes and 2 Necromenches for Archons. Thoughtseizes and Necromenches. That's it. We just straight up swapped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I remember correctly, this game is not a game. This hand's kind of medium. They keep Leyline of the Void plus land. I'm like, alright. Play a dork. So they bolt it here. And then they never play another land. So we just get a free win, basically. Just play dorks, play wall root, just play dorks. I'm going to go fast to this game because this game was very exciting. They just never got another land. They bolted our dork. We just play more dorks. Play grist, blah, 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 blah. You know, they just never get another land. We just do everything we want. Attack. Attack, 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 attack. Right? And that's the game. That's the game. They must have kept Bolt, Wrenn and 6, Leyline, just needing 1 land for Wrenn and 6, and they just conceded after not getting it. Not a very exciting game, but we did play against creativity. Okay, so round number 8. I lost this round pretty hard. Very hard. P at PC5. Okay. So this hand's not this good. No Yawgmoth, but this hand's good. They're on the play. So they have turn 1 Ragavan. We don't really have an answer for that. So I assume it's like Scam, but Scam doesn't really play Den of the Bugbear. So I was like, wah, pourquoi? This is a Spike Soul Black-Red. So we just play, you know, Island Dork, Forest Dork. They smash us with Ragavan. Ragavan hits our forest. That's important because I missed this in the game, and it ended up costing me. The fact that Ragavan exiled our forest. So now I'm like, oh, I'll play this so I can fetch up the other basic forest in case I get Blood Mooned, right? But I missed it because of fucking Ragavan. So because of fucking Ragavan, I shock myself here. Right? Because I was not paying attention. I was watching League of Legends World group stage, and I was like, fuck, I missed this. Right? Now I just play Wall of Roots, Strangaroo Geist attack. Right? But I should be at 17 if I was paying more attention. Because I could have played this, gotten the swamp, and done everything that I wanted to do. So they played Dread Canter, hit our thing. Now I play birds. I'm just going to play my land, attack. So they played Voidwalker, and they didn't attack. Now I play Strangaroo Geist. I swing at the Strangaroo Geist because I have this. I'm willing to trade this for this. Were they willing to trade? No, they traded a Ragavan, which is fine. Then I played Strangaroo Geist. And here it comes. They attack with Bugbear. I have to block here. I block here too, I believe. Yeah. I take 7 damage. Now I draw Grist. I plus. Kill the Voidwalker. And jump block. Now, if you remember, I play Yawgmoth plus. Now, do you remember when I paid 2 life to shock myself, right? They attack me. And if I didn't pay 2 life and shock myself, I'm at 9 life. I have a swamp in play. And then they attack me here. And I block. I'm like, what's this attack? Block, block. They just wanted me to go 6 because they're sitting on double bolt. But me not paying attention to this match and searching for the forest when it was exiled with Ragavan because I was watching a game cost me the match. Because I would be at 8 life right here and they couldn't double bolt me. Right? They could have double bolted Yawgmoth. They could have done a lot of stuff, right? But I wouldn't be dead. Like I just died here to that. Because of me cracking the fetch. Because I missed the forest was exiled. That little bit cost me this game. Alright, so now we go to round number 8. I just assumed they were scam. So I sideboarded out the Thoughtseize. I brought in the 3 Hearst, the Sheoldred, the Endurance. Let's just do it. Let's just do it on the... We'll put it in the thing here. So these are the sideboard cards. We'll put them here. Then we'll go sort mana value. So I boarded out the Thoughtseize. What else did I board out? I boarded out Chord, Evolution, Yawgmoth. Chord, Evolution, Yawgmoth. And I brought in 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that it? I think I brought in Endurance. Did I bring in Endurance? I brought an endurance. I'm at 62 cards. Oh my god. I was just not paying any attention. Oh, embarrassing. So embarrassing. Yeah, so I had endurance in, and I had a Boseiju in, probably. And I boarded out these, and I boarded in this. This is kind of embarrassing. And I'm at 62 cards. Oh my god. Embarrassing. 62. Nice. This is why I don't do sideboard guides. I was pretty out of it. So, of course, we have one land because I have 62 cards. But I keep it. Play Hierarch. Bolt it. Luckily, I drew this other one. I just wanted to get in for damage. And they play a Voidwalker. Oh, Ragavan. They took my Hearse. They couldn't cast it. I ripped another land, which was pretty lucky. So now I play this, and they just destroy me. You ready to see me get destroyed? They play Voidwalker into Fury, and that's the game. All my stuff dies. They dash Ragavan. I'm just going to go fast because this game's over. Now Hearse looks foolish. Endurance looks foolish. But they have Inquisition, so I have to play the Endurance. Get their land. They play two of these Dothies, and there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do against these Voidwalkers. No, I'm just dead. Voidwalker's very, very good against Yawg. I died very, very quickly there. Let's do the last round of the Swiss. The last round of the Swiss. This is my winning in. So this is like a big game. Winning in for the top 8 against Cristiano. This hand's okay. Birdie. So, Blackleaf Cliff. So, it's another scam deck. Maybe I was supposed to play Boseiju here first and not lose life here. But I was shocked. There's Voidwalker again. So I just go Wall of Roots, attack with Stranglegeist, right? My favorite. Turn 2. Now, they have Season Pyro. They dump a Grief and a Hearse main, which is fine. But now I get to untap and play the Yawgfather. And I just kill the Voidwalker. Get that thing dead, so now I can have some fun. There's no point in doing anything just yet. I already made a land drop. So we get Yawg in play here. And they Thoughtseize us. They get rid of the evolution. They just don't really have a very good time this time. And, you know, we start killing stuff. Just kind of start messing around. Seeing what we can do. Attack. I've drawn a lot of lands here. But so they attack here, and I think I decided to minus here and like just let that thing kill both of these. And just let it return with Undying. Then we play a Grist. And they don't really do much here. Oh, I think they hardcast a Fury. That was annoying. But what do they kill? They kill the Grist. And then I just start. I think I just shoot this, proliferate. All right, shoot here, shoot this, proliferate. Pretty sure. Shoot that. Proliferate that thing down. Proliferate, and then I proliferate again. Now, I should have left Yawgmoth back here in case they had Ragavan plus Bolt, right? I should have left Yawgmoth back because I died of that. But I didn't, so I attacked. And they had a whole bunch of nothing. And we play Messenger. And I attack. They do make Seasoned Pyromancer tokens, but I needed them to tap out. They make Seasoned Pyromancer tokens, and then we just kill them with Messenger. Okay. So, then we go to the final game. How did I sideboard? This is one of the first times ever I've actually cut the Messenger. So let's get rid of all these sideboard cards. Sort mana value. Pretty sure I just cut all of this. I just cut like 9 cards. I don't know. I don't remember what I cut. Pretty sure. Thoughtseize Messenger 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I left in 2 chords. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I left in 2 evolutions. And I cut this. I brought in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I brought in these 7. I brought in these 7, right? Yeah, I swapped these for these. I don't like having chords when they're just going to kill your board. Chord is so bad against Fury. Evolution is so bad against Daunty, Voidwalker. And I cut this for the Boseiju in case they had Blood Moon and or whatever. Hearse. So, let's begin. This hand's great, obviously. They Thoughtseized away my thing. I play thingy. Now I play Wall of Roots. Wall of Roots, Birdie. I'm protected from grief. They Seasoned Pyromancer discard 2 lands. I play Dryad Arbor, pass. They grief me, and I play Endurance. They Undying the grief. And now we draw Yawg, and this game's over. Just Yawgmoth, boop. Yawgmoth resolves. And I start shrinking stuff. They have a removal spell, but at this point, I have no cards in my hand, and now I'm about to draw a bunch of cards. And they're about to draw no cards. So now, play Grist. Grist goes up. I'm just going to go Warp Speed because they can't a grief here, which is good. But I have 10 creatures in my yard. And so now they're dead. Right? So if I attack and they block here. If I attack and they don't block here, they just end up dying. It's kind of funny. So I attack. They have to block and throw away their grief. They take 4. And I have 10 creatures, plus this is 11. So they just die here. They needed to block. They needed to throw away, block their endurance. That's it. Boom, top 8. Top 8 with this list. With half-ass sideboarding off-stream. Rarity. With this, we made it off-stream. Made it to top 8. Alright. Let's see how much time I have left in my thing. Alright, well, I'll be back for the final round. Okay, so here we are for the final round. This is round 10. This is the top 8. This is against Twinless Twin, who, they beat me, but it was a struggle. So, this hand, I want to go over this game and see if there's anything I could have done differently. This hand's obviously good. Obviously, I wish it wasn't a Dryad Arbor, but, you know. This is what really... The one thing I really hate about Magic Online is that I was 4th and they were 5th. And it's just a random draw thing. I hate that, like, the top... It wouldn't require much to make the top 8, like, play draw dependent like it would be in paper. But whatever. P divided by 3. Do I just join the game? P divided by 3 up here. You see that? Nice. Alright. So they start with a Scalding Tarn. Ragavan. I do the Yawgmoth, which was pretty awesome. So we'll just play this into this. They attack. So now. They threw their Ragavan into the Yawgmoth, which I was fine with. I guess they wanted Delirium for this. So here I was like, alright, we'll play this, and we'll put this land into play tapped. And I attacked, right? No point in not attacking here. Maybe they have another Ragavan to dash. So maybe I should have left this back to block another dash Ragavan. But they just actually got me with the Blood Moon here. Right, they just slammed a Blood Moon, which was just awful. If I was on the play, I would have been able to deal with this Blood Moon, but I was on the draw, so I couldn't really deal with it to get this Yawgmoth in play and just win this game. But since I was on the draw and I got blindsided by it, so play the Wall of Roots, attack with the Yawgmoth. Play a Grist. And kill this with this. Now it's kind of shocking to me that I lost this game. I lost this game, and I don't know how. Another DRC. And a Murktide. Oh, that's how I lost. So, I played this, I plussed, right? So I have 2 here. They have 1 card in hand. I can't play my Yawgmoth unless these birds die. So they have 1 card in hand. And they have Iteration. And then they just cast another Iteration. And then they hit another Lightning Bolt. And they bolt my thing during the upkeep, which was pretty crazy lucky. So they bolt my Dork. And I play the Grist, kill the Murktide, attack. What the hell's going on? They killed my other Dork, so now I just can't get to the Yawg. And I'm just locked out of black mana. I can't play the Yawgmoth. Attack them to 4. I played Grist, killed their thing. They bolted my thing. They're at 3. They play Ledger Shredder. They attack me. They bolt my colored source of black mana. They bolt my other thing. Yep. Play this. And they just smash me in the face. And now I draw Grist. Here I mess up. I mess up real bad here. Like, I don't know why I did this, but I messed this up so badly here. I play the Grist. I attack first with the insect token. They go to 3. I play the Grist. But their last card in hand is fucking stupid. I sack this thing to kill the Ledger Shredder, but their last card in hand is stupid Brazen Borrower. You know? And I still would have won this game if I had sacked this thing instead of the Ignoble. Right? They consider, they attack me, they put me to 1, they play this. I still draw this. I wouldn't have won because they had this, but they drew a lot of bolts, and I just got blindsided by the Blood Moon in game 1. So now we go to game 2. And let's go to sideboarding. I have 2. We'll do it. It's the last one, so we'll do it. I have 2 Thoughtseizes in the deck. Alright. I know I have 2 Thoughtseize, Endurance, Sheoldred. These. Pretty sure I brought in the Boseiju. And I think I brought in these. And I think I boarded out a Yawgmoth, an Ignoble, a Misty, all these evolutions. I think I brought in these 7 for these 7. Let's see if that's what I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how I boarded, exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, here we go. So, I'm up 7 minutes, which usually doesn't happen. This hand's kind of sketchy. I could have kept this, but I don't have black in it ever. So I didn't keep it. I shouldn't. Maybe I should have kept it. So then here's the same hand. I put back a Boseiju. Played this tapped. They had a DRC. I got a forest. Played a Wall of Roots. This was a weird game because they never had another land. So here I got to play a birds, play this, and plus. This was a really weird game. They kept like a 1-lander. They bolted my Wall of Roots, which was really weird. Like, obviously, very weird play. But it must have meant that they had Fury, right? Why else would you bolt this during the upkeep? So they tanked, they tanked, they tanked. They played Fury. They killed my whole board except for 1 insect. So I plussed. And I passed here. I didn't really want to get anything. Nothing would have helped. So then somehow they just didn't have anything. It was very weird. They just had nothing. So they unholy heated the grist during my upkeep, which was really weird, but whatever. Don't know why they wouldn't have done that on their upkeep or whatever, but that's what they chose to do. And I don't know. This was a weird game. Weird that they waited with this. Weird. I don't get it. But whatever. So, and we just keep playing grists. Just keep plussing grists. They still never get delirium. They shocked themselves, right? And then I'm just like, alright, well, I plussed, I played the land, and I passed. I'm up 9 minutes on them at this point. They just throw away the game here. So in my second main phase, they're just like, alright, I'll play. They're like, I'll cycle. What's it called? They cycle the stupid dress down. And I was like, okay, well, I'll chord for Yawgmoth and destroy you. And then I just pinged their two guys. That was about the game. That was about the game. Then they untapped. I mean, the game went on. The game went on a little bit. They played an iteration. They did kill my Yawgmoth. But now I have unlicensed Hearst. I plussed. Played Hearst. I exiled. They had 6 card types, so I was like, alright, I'll get Bobble, I'll get Dress Down. Put them down to 4 card types. And I figured I'd save this Court of Calling for Yawgmoth. I would have courted for the Endurance here to get their whole graveyard, but the Endurance was in the graveyard. And I only have the one, so I was like, alright. So I would have courted 1, 2, 3, 4 to just blank them so they can't Unholy Heat or play DRC. But they just played an iteration and played a Consider and conceded. They were looking for an Unholy Heat or something to kill the Grist, but they conceded. They were down. They're down to quite a bit of time, so now we'll go to the final game. The final game. Game 2 was a weird one. Alright. So this hand's not great. Not great. A lot of lands. So they messed around with bobbles. They're doing a lot of bobbling over there. And I just... That was a good draw. You know. Forest, Yawgmoth. Very boring. I should have maybe Thoughtseized them because they were setting up for a Murktide. You don't spew like that without, like, getting a Murktide, so I probably should have Thoughtseized them. They had a turn 2 Murktide. I should have gone Blooming Marsh Thoughtseize probably instead of this Yawgmoth. But I played the Yawgmoth and then I just played the Wall of Roots. They played a DRC. Now I drew Sheoldred, right? Yay, the new hotness Sheoldred. So I could play Sheoldred here, but there's no way that it would resolve. There's no way. So I didn't play her, and I was like, all right, I'm going to Thoughtseize, and I'm going to play Thoughtseize. They counter it. And then I'm like, all right, I'll play Stranglerootgeist. Attack. I could have maybe not played Stranglerootgeist and done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could have courted for 2, but that didn't really do anything. And they had iteration and they had a Fury. Of course they had Fury. And now their last card in hand is Counterspell. And the game ends. I was trying to get a Endurance here or something. Or Grist and kill this. But then they have Counterspell. That's it. Game over. I should have Thought Seized on turn 1 instead of playing the Yawgmoth, and I should have taken this thing. And I should have made them kill me with this DRC. Then maybe I could have resolved the Sheoldred. But dying with the Sheoldred in my hand was just like kind of reminiscing. It might not be for this matchup, but I was like, alright, I'll try it. That's the problem with trying cards. Like, what would the Sheoldred be, though? It wouldn't have been anything too crazy, but, you know. It's definitely not against Murktide. But yeah, this was the top 8. Got eliminated in the top 8. That deck will just nut draw you, and that's kind of what they did in that game. They turned to... I went Yawgmoth, they went 4/4 Flyer, and then they held up Counterspell for every turn for the rest of the game. And it's just like, oh, cool. So, that'll happen. I should have Thought Seized on turn 1 instead of playing the Yawgmoth. And in game 1, if I was on the draw... If I was on the play in game 1, I wouldn't have gotten wrecked by the Blood Moon. But, you know, I like the list. I don't think I'd ever play Sheoldred again. She's cool versus Burn, but, like, who cares about Burn? Burn's useless. I like the Boseiju. I don't know if I need this card anymore. This card might be time to play something else instead of this card. But we'll see. We'll see how the meta shakes out. The meta's still changing. Urion just got banned, so the meta's changing. People are changing what they're playing, and we'll see how it all shakes out. I did like the 3 Hearsts. I don't know. We'll see how it goes for the future. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody who supports me and hangs out and plays my channel and stuff. I'm sorry I didn't stream this. But I hope you guys got a chance to enjoy it. Have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.